Hi YouTube. Okay, hi YouTube. So this is my video, my very first YouTube video. It is a tank setup. Now, this tank has been set up recently. It just got cleaned today, actually just now. So I figured now would be a perfect time to do this tank setup video. Everybody does these videos, but I figured I would give it a shot. So this tank belongs to my two baby bearded dragons. I have Nimueh, who is right there. Let me pronounce her name a little slower. Nimueh. And my other bearded dragon, right there, is Eragon. And both sweethearts. Nimueh doesn't like to be held as much as Eragon, but that's another video. So let's talk about what I have set out here. So I have a food bowl with prickly pear dragon food, which they seem to like. Now, this isn't all my dragons eat. They also eat kale, which they seem to love. Collard greens, they also like. They love superworms, which I'm starting a breeding colony, actually, for the superworms. Occasionally, they'll eat mealworms. I don't give them to them that much because of the risk of impaction. But once in a while for treats, because Eragon does like them. I also am thinking about starting them on doobie roaches, but I haven't started that yet. Anyway, so I also have their water bowl. Now, I gotta get, for Eragon's new setup, I have to get him a water fountain because he doesn't exactly like the water bowl. He'll soak in it, which I know he gets hydration from it that way, but he doesn't drink out of it. And Nimueh likes to drink out of the water bowl, and I just feel weird with Eragon soaking in it and Nimueh wanting to drink out of it. So, then we have their hide log, which I'm sure everybody has in their tanks. I have a thermometer. So I got two thermometers, this one, and I also have a, this one. It's an All Living Things thermometer, and it checks the humidity as well. Humidity gauge, I guess. I got paper because that's what I use for substrate. I don't use any other sort of substrate except paper or paper towels because of the fact that Eragon is a very aggressive eater. If there was any sort of sand or wood chips or anything like that in there, he would probably get impaction. So the only other thing I have, other than these things I showed you, is the tank, which is a 20-gallon tank with a screen top with a little door to make it easier to get the dragons out. I also have my light, my UVB light, and I also have my heat lamp, which is a 60 or 75 watt bulb. Now, this is just an old rabbit ramp, which the rabbit never used, and I put a cloth on it to give them something to grab a hold of. And I use this as a ramp for them to get them up closer to the basking spot. Now, it works very, very well for them because they get closer to the basking spot, up to the proper temperature and all that. So let's get started. So because I don't use substrate, I'm just going to be laying newspaper down. This is the step where you'd be laying whatever substrate you use. Personally, I would never use anything except paper. I mean, you could always use Repti carpet, but that holds bacteria, and it also holds moisture and an odor. So for me, the best idea is paper. Just my opinion. Once again, everybody has their own opinion on this matter. So I'm going to pause this and lay the paper. Okay, so that's everything set up as far as the paper goes. I got a couple layers just because my bearded dragons do hang out in their water bowl sometimes. So, in case they get out of their water bowl and they're wet, they get the paper wet, I don't want it soaking all the way through. Now, next, I will put their hide log in. Now, I use this to also hold up the ramp. So, their hide log goes over here in the corner, under where the heat lamp goes. Just like that. Next, I put the hide on the ramp. Can I have that, guys? Can I have it? Can I? Thank you. Okay, so next this goes here. And then their water bowl, because that will slip down, goes right here to hold it up. Now that probably isn't going to do too good of a job holding it up until after I put the water in it. But that's what it looks like on a day-to-day basis. And then their food bowl, I sit right here just as a little bit of extra support against the to give a little extra support with the holding up the ramp. They like it set up like that. Now, next I got my thermometer, which I have to untie real quick, so I'll be right back. Okay, so this part of the thermometer just gets stuck right on the outside of the tank. Usually it sits right about there. Now this one can slide right off the suction cup so you can look at it. See? And then it slides right back on. In this part, I just put right here next to the top of the basking area. See? So that's their tank. Oh, I almost forgot the food. So their food goes right in their food bowl. And all the white stuff in there is a little bit of calcium powder. This is my worm feeding bowl, my bowl I use to feed them worms into. So they've had their worms today. So there's their prickly pear. Nimueh's going crazy. Here's some water, which my house stays decently dry, so the humidity that comes from the water isn't enough to cause them any illnesses. So next is the lid. make sure it's on nice and tight. So that's that. And next is the lights. So this is my UVB light. This sits right over here and gets turned on. And their heat lamp, which is still in really good condition actually, goes right here. And comes one. And if you look at the thermometer, which it will slowly start to rise, see? It's already at 79.7. And as the time goes, it will actually get warmer. Already 80 degrees. So I'm going to go ahead and let that sit, and let me tell you a little bit about my dragons. So, this little feisty girl here is Nimueh. She's a firecracker. I got them from PetSmart, and they were the last two in the tank, so I couldn't see just getting one. I originally only went for one, but they, I didn't want to leave one alone. If I would have only got one, it probably would have been Eragon, but I'm glad I got Nimueh. She's a really good dragon. She's not as good an eater as Eragon, so, 1 second. So, I mean, she's a little bit smaller. She's not that fast of a grower. But she is healthy. She has a nice little... She lets go of my hand so I can move it. She has a nice little belly on her. She doesn't really like to be held that much, but she was doing pretty good about sitting still. So Eragon is my little camera hog. You turn around, bud. So that's my Eragon. As you see, he's really big. The last time I checked his length, he was 8 inches. But the 19th, I'm going to check his length again. And that's from tip of nose to tip of tail. He had a little incident where the tip of his tail actually came off. I'm not exactly sure what happened, but we were lucky and there was no infection in it. They're both normals, as I said. He's a darker color than her. And really pretty. Where she is a grayish with black spots. He's more of a darker color. And if I bring him over here in the light, it's almost a greenish color. Almost. They just came through a shed, so he's actually his actual color now. Except maybe his legs. But he loves to be held. He does get kind of feisty sometimes. He loves this picture being taken. He's kind of a diva. Yeah, he's kind of a diva. He's my best eater. He will eat and eat and eat if I let him. So what they're currently... See, he doesn't want to get off my hand. Okay, Eragon, down. Eragon. He doesn't want to cooperate. Okay, so what they're in right now is just the bottom part of my worm breeding facility. It's a tiered container that I have my super worms in the top. My beetles, once they hatch out, are going to be in the second drawer. And this eventually will be my newborn hatchery. But right now I use it when I'm changing their cage for my dragons, who at a distance don't look that big. but in real life, they really are. They're pretty big. Oh, I guess they are kind of small compared to what they're gonna get. But so that's my dragons in my video. My next video is probably going to be on how to breed superworms. Everybody does that video as well. And let's check the thermometer one more time. So remember, it was at 80 degrees last time we checked it. It's already at 91.2. So it's raising pretty quick. Like I said, perfect place for my thermometer to be, perfect place for their basking spot to be with that bulb. And also my house stays pretty cool at times, so which prevents the humidity from going up too much. But it also means that their basking spot has to be up higher. Now, my dragons are way too young for brumation, but I have a feeling that when Nimueh is old enough, she will decide to brumate under the paper, because I caught her sleeping under the paper the other day. So, anyways, one last look at it. This is their homemade ramp, their hide log, their food and water bowl. Pretty plain, I know. But Eragon's 50-gallon tank, his final upgrade, won't be this boring. Alright, so thanks. See ya.